Live as we start guess we start a new week, huh? Wow. They're going fast and still a long time to the election, unfortunately, and therefore a long time to keep praying that the country doesn't undergo any more damage from the multiply flawed president that we have, who has done more damage than any president in American history. But this show, as you know, is brought to you by QUX and by the wonderful, I love Balance of Nature, which we will be talking about a little later. But we'd really appreciate it if you would give them a call and start taking care of yourself both ways, financially through QUX and health-wise through Balance of Nature. And of course, don't forget my pillows. Never forget my pillows, because he never forgets you. So let's begin with what the weekend brought. What the weekend brought was a little relaxation to the unbelievable disclosures of last week, and really was a battle of trying to drown out probably the most significant evidence of guilt by a president. Only significant because, you know, it's like that. I don't know that that it tops it off, but it sure is on a pile of evidence that's really there already. If there was anything fair about our system, and there isn't, this would be over with a long time ago. But it becomes yet another, how is this guy not indicted? And that is the interview, the testimony, the later interview by Devin Archer with first with the committee, and then I don't know. Did the testimony with what's not called a testimony? The interview that was done, did that come out before last week? I don't remember. Did it come out over the weekend?
It came out late last week.
Like on Friday.
Yeah, late Friday night.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. So you put that all together, because you can put it all together. What you have is something much more significant than has been described to you. First of all, it has not been described in 80% of America's news or media outlets. Now, that's astounding. That's similar to the 2 weeks earlier when the FBI or the FD 1023 came out, in which a very highly regarded confidential informant of the FBI said that he was told by the person who actually did it that he paid a bribe to Joe Biden and his son in order to fix his case and get it thrown out, get the prosecutor thrown out, and ultimately have the case thrown out, and so that he could keep the company that he essentially stole while he was a minister of government. That, I don't know how many of the news outlets covered it. Many didn't cover it at all. And the ones that did covered it way back, hidden, and very cryptically, as if it were a Republican plot, when in fact, this was an FBI 1023 internally developed by an organization that hates Donald Trump. Highly credible. We have to make sure we put on the Getter microphone, because that is not lit. So I don't know if they can hear us. Well, they should. Now they can. Now they should be able to hear us through their regular mic, but they weren't hearing us through the much better microphone that they have, so it's much more professional. Now they should be able to hear us perfectly because we value our getter audience, and we realize they operate under a bit of a disadvantage because they're not part of Restream. I think they should all write to their management and say, would you please make us part of Restream? Then they would get everything nice and smooth, all the commercials. Well, maybe they don't want those, but the commercials, but they'd also get the telephone calls and in some cases some of the video, because we are separately broadcasting to them, whereas everyone else, it's one singular broadcast that goes through a Restream, and then it goes to Twitter and to YouTube and to Facebook and to Twitch. And we keep promising Instagram, but we don't do it. I'm saying that for Ted's benefit.
We'll get it, Mayor.
Okay. So it was made clear over the weekend that Archer, that there were over 20 telephone calls while Joe Biden was vice president, in which Hunter Biden used him as the closer on the business deals to impress foreigners with how Joe's influence could be used for their benefit. The Democrats, including the guy who's taking on the mantle of being one of the bigger liars in Washington, Goldman, said, oh, they may have been talking about the weather. Now, I think 20 conversations about the weather indicates just how much he thinks of you. He thinks you're foolish and stupid. But all Democrats think you're foolish and stupid. Remember, you're, what are you? You're deplorables, right? So Tucker Carlson had him point out even more clearly that it was without doubt, he said he had absolutely no doubt that Joe Biden knew exactly who he was talking to, knew exactly that they were business contacts, and also had no doubt that Joe was deeply entrenched in and knew all about Hunter's business contacts. Well, that alone would be a powerful piece of evidence of guilt at any trial, as not only a false exculpatory statement, but a highly material one, and uttered many, many, many times. And a judge would say, you can take that testimony, and if you believe that Joe Biden was lying, and you'd have to be out of your mind not to believe he's lying after all the evidence that's there, you can convict him based on that. You can convict him of bribery. Now, that's a hell of a story. It's a hell of an allegation. It's a highly supported allegation. It isn't like the garbage they usually print with one source or half a source or a quarter of a source. It turns out to be, I mean, how long did they print Russian collusion? It was untrue. Now they have a truthful allegation. I mean, there really should be a way to have somebody decertified as a newspaper when they don't cover absolutely world-shattering, compelling news because they're crooked. I mean, how do you not cover the allegation that a $10 million bribe was given to the vice president of the United States that's in an FBI report that the FBI considers credible as an allegation? I'm telling you, if you wanted to put the evidence all together that you didn't cover in the past, you could prove it. You don't even have an allegation. But just that alone, that's what you call news. And it's part of all the news that fit the print, except they're not newspapers any longer. They are very similar to the publications in Nazi Germany and communist Russia and communist China and Venezuela. They do what the state tells them to do. And the state tells them not to cover that. They don't cover it, even though it's probably the most significant piece of news that we've had all year. So you only find out about it through me and through Newsmax and through WABC and through our colleagues. And I don't know what percentage of the American people know that right now. I bet it's about half. About half of the people in the United States know that their president has been accused by a highly credible FBI informant or confidential source of taking a $10 million bribe in a case in which there are about 20 other pieces of evidence that he did that under highly credible circumstances, and that nothing, absolutely nothing, is being done to investigate it, which is a very, very strong indication that our entire government's corrupt. This is not important for the American people to know. You have a right to keep it from them. Who the hell are you? Now, the strangest thing is that as he gets indicted, Donald Trump, he gets more popular. The Republican primary is becoming a runaway. He's ahead. It depends. Some pro DeSantis people, the desperate ones like Fox, and they really went out on it. And Fox turned into a DeSantis all-day machine about a month ago.
It's funny you said that, Mayor. I was actually watching the 5 today, and it seems that Waters and Gutfeld are actually coming back to the Trump train.
Well, they've always been okay.
Yeah, but
compared to the others,
right.
Waters and Gutfeld and Williams and Janine. But the rest of them, the mere fact that they devoted so much time to him, it was like it should be a campaign contribution. I mean, it was a violation of the campaign finance law.
Gee, funny how that works. And now his poll numbers are going down, and all these people are jumping ship.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
funny how that works, Mayor.
His biggest contributor, the guy who gave him $20 million, said no more money for him. His second biggest contributor was only $2 million. So this whole big thing about he has all these big contributors, but they're gone. He had one $20 million contributor. I'll get you his name. The guy has said, I got to see something out of him before I give him any more money. And then the next biggest contribution is $2 million. And this guy is not exactly the most dynamic campaigner. I mean, Trump without money can still do the rallies. If he did a rally, first of all, 20 people would show up, more than Biden. That'd be what you could say. And he'd put him to sleep. Never heard him tell a joke. Think he can tell a joke? I don't know. But in any event, he made up a little in Iowa. He's only like 30 points. He's only like 30 points. He's going to concentrate on Iowa.
Great.
That's really good, because the last time somebody who won Iowa won the nomination was, I don't know when. But
has that ever? I guess on the Democrat side, you could say Obama back in
with his campaign staff. You think they told him that? You should look at John McCain. Look, he beat me that way. He concentrated on New Hampshire. If you're going to concentrate on one or the other, you should concentrate on New Hampshire. Because if you win Iowa and you lose New Hampshire, you might as well not have won Iowa, because New Hampshire cancels it out. First of all, Iowa is a caucus, not an election. So New Hampshire is a heavily fought out, very competitive election, and therefore, if you're going to get installed as the front runner, the minute you win New Hampshire, doesn't matter what happens in Iowa. I mean, Ronald Reagan lost Iowa. Donald Trump lost Iowa.
Didn't Bush lose Iowa?
Bush lost Iowa all the time. Every Bush lost Iowa.
Yeah.
They come back and win New Hampshire. Ball game over. Reagan lost Iowa. He did a reboot of his campaign, but a lot different than DeSantis.
Was his reboot 17 days?
His reboot was in one day. Mrs. Reagan kicked out the campaign manager, brought in a whole new campaign staff, and they let Reagan be Reagan. And they didn't change their message as much as they had him communicated directly without a whole bunch of crappy stuff having been written for him. And it turned out that naturally Ronald Reagan was a genius, much like Trump. Trump is a political genius. Whether you like him, not like him, but he's a political genius.
Well, it turns out everyone said, Mayor, that not everyone, but the argument was DeSantis is Trump without the baggage, right? Trump without the baggage. Turns out DeSantis is Trump without the charm, Trump without the humor. Trump without the track record.
Trump without the record, Trump without the charm, Trump without the sense of humor.
Yeah. It's
I think Ron's a nice guy. He's just better
He's a
governor.
lot of nice guys.
He's a better.
Is he though?
I think he's a better governor than he would be a presidential candidate, in my opinion.
And a lot of people in Florida are wondering, where's their governor?
He's campaigning,
Yeah.
or what he calls campaigning. So yeah,
he's trying to campaign. It's good luck.
yeah.
I mean, the fact is, there's going to be now there is going to be without any doubt, a fourth indictment, crazy though it is, and it's going to be in, of all places, crooked Atlanta. The city, I don't know. I mean, I think the people have to, pay for their building inspections. I mean, the place is a complete Democrat sinecure. The reason they cheated there is because they own the courts, they own the sheriff, they own everything. Notice that the places where they cheated are all Democratic, well-known, crooked cities. Atlanta is right near the top. So we'll have to see what's done to change that this time around. But the weekend was really quite interesting because the press is like in total, absolute denial. I mean, you can't be in more denial than they are. You can't. You think about it. Do we have the Dana Bash interview of John Lauro?
Let's play it.
Because Dana Bash, who I know and respect, I think, said, I don't know how you can say this, but okay, she is going to say it, and just listen to it.
That may speak to
this isn't by the Biden
innocence
administration. This
of
is by the
President
special
Trump.
independent counsel.
No, here for this reason, no. The independent counsel, it's not independent, it's special counsel, has to get the approval of Merrick Garland in order to go forward. Joe Biden said in November 2022 that he wanted to see President Trump prosecuted and taken out of this race.
There's
so it
no,
is the Biden
I'm just going to stop you
administration.
because there's no evidence
But the
that
bottom line is
Joe Biden is involved in this. And you're right, it's a special counsel. Let's just stick to the question. Do you believe that this is something that you'll agree to?
The point is that we will not agree to keeping information that's not sensitive from the press. The press and the American people in a campaign season have a right to know what the evidence is in this case, provided that this evidence is not protected otherwise. So we're going to oppose it, as we have. But for whatever reason, these lawyers on the prosecution team want to keep that from the press.
Well, won't the evidence come out in trial anyway?
That the press, some of it will, not all of it. I'm shocked that the press isn't lined up objecting to this protective order, because not only is President Trump being attacked for his First Amendment rights, now these prosecutors are trying to impinge on the freedom of the press.
Okay, let's stick to, I appreciate you trying to stick up for us.
What's happening? I'm telling you.
I appreciate you trying to stick up for us, but let's talk about the actual
I'm telling you what's going on right
substance
now.
of what they were trying to do in the filing, which was try to make the point not only that they want to
well, I think you can tell by the tenor of that interview that was not an objective interview by a reporter seeking the truth. That was a one-sided interview of a reporter that has made up her mind. And whenever Trump's lawyer told her something she didn't agree with, she didn't let him finish the sentence. Dana Bash is usually not rude like that, but I think this comes about because they're nervous that they're going to lose. I've never heard her interrupt someone as often as she did Mr. Turo, and it tells me it's because of the strength of his argument and the idea that there's no evidence that Joe was involved in either with the foreign, with all the foreign clients, or with the decisions made by the Attorney General is ridiculous. I mean, he's publicly involved. He publicly announced that his son is innocent. What kind of signal does that send to his subordinates? The independent counsel is not independent. He works for the attorney general. Joe told him the result that he wanted. He's innocent. Joe has also communicated that at one point, it was in the New York Times over a year ago, that Garland was going too slowly. And all of a sudden, you get all these subpoenas come out and all these charges get escalated. I mean, you got to be a fool to not think he's involved. There's plenty of evidence that he's involved. And she announces it like she's the arbiter of truth, not like she's a reporter. And she interrupts him whenever he makes a point. The percentage of the times they cover this tell you how horribly corrupt they are. But their whole mannerism and the whole way in which they cover things, you think in a million years she would have been questioned Biden that way? When they question Biden, it's almost as if, they're feeding him baby food. Oh, are you okay, Mr. Biden? I mean, how do you like the presidency? Is it nice? Is it too warm for you or too cold? I mean, they haven't had a press conference in 9 months. I mean, this is crazy. And then Representative Auchincloss, whoever the hell he is, I've never heard of him before, but he says there was no evidence. None of the evidence of Archer had any bearing on President Biden. Archer said unequivocally, President Biden knew all the foreign business of Hunter Biden. That's just summarizing it. How can you lie like this? How can you lie like this? It had no bearing on President Biden. I mean, I think they say that because the press, with the exception maybe of the Post, or nobody critically analyzes it. Republicans said that, there'd be an article right after it. What a damn stinking liar he is. Now, how do we elect this guy to Congress? Well, we got another crook in Congress. But they come out, they say these ridiculous things, and they just get covered up, covered up, covered up, covered up. Since this all bears on the 2024 election, which is a little ridiculous because this should not be going on during an election. I think we should cover what's going on in the 2024 election. So we know that Trump is leading in the latest national poll among Republicans with 54% of the vote to whatever, I think 17 for DeSantis, and then everybody is below 10. So I don't know. And in the actually below, everybody's below 10. Sorry. And in the general polls, we've got pretty much Biden and Trump. Average of polls, Trump is ahead by 3 or 4. But you look at them, they're probably back and forth and tied. Christie doesn't seem like he can make a right move, but he's let's just see that. But he's running a campaign that is very bitter and very angry, and I mean they don't work. This is a personal vendetta campaign against Donald Trump because Donald Trump didn't appoint him. And he's actually making the point that probably Donald Trump made the right decision. The guy's so bitter. Maybe he was the unfair prosecutor that Jared Kushner thought. He sure is sounding like one. The little interchange he had recently tells you that whatever political instincts he had, he's lost. He said he'd like to make up with Snooki. Now, do you all remember Snooki? Does everybody remember Snooki? I don't know where Dr. Maria is, but maybe we could find her.
Snooki from Jersey Shore.
Yeah. So he during the maybe it was 2016 campaign or 2015 campaign, he announced that they were very bad for the image of New Jersey. You know, Chris is a real high class guy. You see that, right? You see the way he walks around. Really high, really he's high society. like, he's in his tails every night and has formal dinners. But they were just not right for the image of New Jersey. And then he also turned down giving them some kind of a subsidy for one of their seasons. So I guess maybe she called him a bully when they met, or so now he wants to make up with them. Sounds like this Snooki, Nicole Palizzi, is a lot more loyal than he is, given the way he's turned on Trump, because she's loyal to her beliefs. She said, like hell, I'm going to meet with him. When I met with him, he was very toxic and bullying and in my face, she told the Post this week. And now he wants to meet me because he's running for president, wants my vote. No, thank you. She's about to do a new season called Jersey Shore Family Vacation Season 6. And she's back with her co-star, Jenny J. Wow Farley. She said, I feel like he would just bully his way through office. This may be a good thing to think about. I don't think that's a way we should be running in 2024. And then she warned everyone, don't vote for a bully. Now, this is a person who knows him. There's a picture of them. Now, I think that's Chris before the operation. Because I think that's a picture going back to like 2015. I could be wrong.
When did you first meet or know about Chris Christie? When he was a U.S. attorney?
About 2010.
Oh, when he was running for governor.
I believe he
Before.
told us, Mayor, he was like the worst U.S. attorney you've ever met.
No. He's not the worst U.S.
Or
attorney.
one of them.
He's not the worst U.S. attorney I've met. Don't overdo it. Now
how is he doing? Yeah.
I think that's an old picture. Snooki looks a lot younger there too. So he met with them, I guess. Then he met up with them.
Sad.
And he was very, very bullying back then. So now he's trying to suck up, and they really just socked him right in his fat face. Wow.
He can't.
Whoa.
Can you imagine? He's getting slapped around by two former reality TV stars.
Yeah. The big
This
donor
guy's gonna be
was
president.
Robert Bigelow, was the 79-year-old hotel entrepreneur who donated $20 million to Never Back Down.
Oh,
He has said no more for Ron DeSantis. A lot of his donors are still on the fence. His second biggest donor is Douglas Tony, who's given him $2 million. And now Bigelow's has some advice for him. It is to shift to becoming a moderate.
What?
He'll lose if he doesn't. Extremism isn't going to get you elected. And he thinks his biggest mistake was on abortion. Now, if he shifts and becomes a moderate, he'll go down to 2%.
You're right.
Down to 2%.
What does that mean? Shift to me.
I'll tell you, going to Ukraine didn't help him with the conservatives, giving him Bon Jovi lyrics.
Oh, Christie. No, we're talking about DeSantis now.
Oh, DeSantis. Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Christie.
Well, we don't know what
I'm
position.
sorry about that.
No, but that's okay because we don't know what position Christie has on. He was against Ukraine before he was for it. But we don't know if he's for it or against.
He just went there to meet with Zelensky, didn't he?
Christie.
Yeah.
What's about Pence?
Oh, I thought you said DeSantis.
No.
Oh, sorry, Mayor. Sorry
Stop reading that and pay attention. Stop reading that and pay attention. You know what these guys do? They read their little texts from their girlfriends. And so Mike Pence also had a little bit of trouble in the Granite State. How about getting booed? You know, he just thinks he can take these shots at Trump, and he doesn't know that even the people not voting for Trump respect him for being the best president we've had, maybe in their memory or maybe since Ronald Reagan. And, and then he likes to say that, the Trump-Pence record. Like hell, the Trump-Pence record. Come on. That guy.
He loves to take credit, Mayor.
For what? I mean, he was a nice guy. And he was loyal.
He's proud of what the Trump-Pence
and
administration
I'll tell you what he's not telling you
was able to accomplish.
As far as I know, I never got a chance to talk to him. because his chief of staff wouldn't let me talk to him because I think he was afraid that I would convince him. But in any event, what I believe he was told, now I wasn't at the conversation, so this is my belief of what he was told. And what I do believe, whether he was told other things or not, he was told this and this was available to him. Because I was part of helping to get the letters from the legislators who said they wanted the vote back because it was crooked. He had, I believe, 4 or 5 of those letters. And my belief was that he could not change the election. He could not just say Trump won, Biden won. What he could do, he could have granted an adjournment. Chairman almost has the inherent right to do that, and granted the request of the fairly large number of legislators who wrote these letters to him, asking that they be given, I can't remember, it was 7 days or 5 days. I'll go look, so that they could reconsider the vote, because they were very troubled by all the evidence they had of corruption. I do remember most, particularly the one from Georgia, from Senator William Ligon, which contained a very well-written, very well thought out, very precise memo in which he outlined the evidence of the witnesses, the videotapes, and came to the completely opposite conclusion than the left-wing crooked press did about the videotape at the arena, and concluded that the votes that were counted during that period of time were invalid because the public had been completely excluded. And the law of Georgia requires that votes be counted in public. So they've changed the goalposts, and they've kind of made it that you got to prove that they're absolutely invalid, like they were phony votes. Well, you don't have to prove that. All you've got to prove is that nobody got a chance to inspect them because they were thrown out. And then, just to make it a little easier, they would never produce the paper. In 5 months, they would never produce the paper. So if they ran, if Kemp and Raffensperger and the Democrats ran such a clean election, why wouldn't they let you look at the paper? Because many of our witnesses, which Trump was aware of, said that a lot of the paper looked like it was phony. It was pristine. It wasn't folded. It was put in the machine very, very quickly. A lot of times, signatures didn't even appear to be checked by the Democratic employee of a crooked city. And the numbers in one case of these ballots that were seen by someone that were all pristine and not folded was, if I recall correctly, don't hold me exactly to it, but I believe it was 123-2 for Biden, and they look like they were all reproduced, and either by a machine or one person just checked off Biden. This is all testimony that they had. There was a perfect basis on which Pence could have returned them or not. So this idea that he was forced is just as big a bunch of garbage as the nasty things he's saying now about Trump and turning on him. I mean, if you can't put the First Amendment above your anger at Donald Trump, there's something wrong with you. I mean, you don't have to be for Donald Trump to realize that what was done here was a travesty of justice. And if you're too weak to defend Donald Trump, at least you could be strong enough to defend the First Amendment, Pence. And you're not. And you're a wussy, and go somewhere else. You're not up to being president. That's what the American people see. That is certainly what Republicans see. And that's why you're at 7% and sinking. And that's why they're booing you in New Hampshire. And it's going to get worse. Believe me, keep doing it. It'll get worse. So now let me talk to you about balance of nature. Balance of nature is what you need to supplement your diet to make sure you get the necessary fruits and vegetables that all of us need. And despite the fact that, we may eat fruits and vegetables, we don't eat enough. We probably almost definitely don't eat enough. And we don't eat enough every day. So you want to assure that you eat enough every day. You just do what Rudolph Giuliani and many, many others do. Dr. Howard, who we're going to have on this show at some point, and he'll explain all of the all of the background to you, can explain this to you much better than I can. But this is excellent. And look how lively I am. And I've been working all day. I started at 5:30 this morning, and I've already done a radio show, prepared this show, had a very fine dinner with very, very interesting people. I learned a lot, including somebody from Israel. Watch. I let you see me do this. Ted, give him the information while I'm ingesting my fruit and my veggies.
Of course, balance of nature. 31 fruits and veggies fit into these little capsules. Many of you have seen this product across. It's been on Fox News, Newsmax. Look at these pills. Look at that thing. That's it. Small.
You take
small
2 at a time.
Pills.
I take 4.
I would do the same.
Yeah. Well, you're a tough guy like me.
That's right, man. Promo code Rudy.
Look, Balance of Nature started with a commitment to combat the lack of nutritional value in the modern diet. Balance of Nature is whole food. It started in the 1990s and began with Dr. Douglas Howard, who the mayor has spent some time with, and his concern about the increasing epidemic of lifestyle diseases.
True? I hope Dr. Howard doesn't get mad at me, but I hope he doesn't like Christie. But if you have, this is my new ad. If you have Balance of Nature, you get the point? It doesn't have to be that way for you. And if you had Balance of Nature, this is like that ad they used to have when the big guy throws the sand in the skinny guy's face because he doesn't do bodybuilding, and the pretty girl in the bikini walks away from him. You see, these two girls would be looking at him very differently with you using Balance of Nature. Look at Snooki's look. It's like, are you kidding me? And the other one, the taller one, look at her. She's looking at him like, you got to be kidding.
I think that's JWoww, the tall one.
Look, well, all the mayor's looking to do is to make him the healthiest person he can be.
We are concerned for Chris Christie. We want him to be healthy, and we want him to live a long life. That's what we are concerned.
And that's what Balance of Nature is all about.
I know Chris. I knew him. I never saw him take a Balance of Nature. I'll tell you that, which is very good because he would not exactly be a good endorsement for the product. Take. Imagine that.
Well, we'd want to start him on it.
He did it as like this. Take Balance of Nature.
No, if you no.
And if you don't, I'll smack you in the damn mouth.
I won't even say what I want to say.
If you don't take Balance of Nature, I'll beat the crap out of you.
Some reviews I take from.
And you better not make fun of New Jersey, or I'll break your legs.
So
Trump is a bully. I want to fight him.
So as we conclude here on a serious note,
Balance of Nature.
Promo code Rudy.
.com.
Yes, and then promo code
balanceofnature.com. Promo code Rudy, 35% off.
Love that.
These.
Look,
$25 off the travel pack. And if you want to toss in the fiber,
good for your digestive system.
I'm going to take that right near the end. Because I have an idea it works better right before that.
QUX now as well, Mayor?
Let's wrap this up here. We just want to remind people that
I got a few things I want to get in.
Balanceofnature.com, balanceofnature.com. Use the promo code Rudy. Okay.
So there was a riot in New York. I do mostly I do more New York oriented stuff on my radio show on WABCradio.com. I hope you watch that. Really easy for you to get it, All you have to do is go online and go to WABCradio.com. You can get us, even if you're in, like the guy from Israel who listens to it in Israel. You can also make it easy on yourself and just go under your app store and ask for the WABC app, and boom, you got it. Then you hit live, and there I am, or Greg Kelly, or Curtis Sliwa, or John Castamatidis.
They can also listen after the fact as well, Mayor. They can listen to your podcast right after. They turn into a podcast.
Yeah, and then if you want to go to a podcast, you can go to RudyGiulianiCS.com, and you can get prior broadcasts of America's Mayor Live, and you can get some of our historic podcasts. which go back to the very day of the January 6th, worst day than Pearl Harbor, worst day than the Depression, worst day than the Civil War, worst day than the Second World War. It was worse because it was the only insurrection in the history of the world that was accomplished without a gun.
Well, Mayor, I saw a real insurrection on Friday when I was at the riot in Union Square.
Oh, well, that's what I want to talk about. Let me get out my.
I was actually there, so I can fill you in on the details.
Because I have what, as they say in Brooklyn, I have pictures.
You got pictures. He's got
I got pictures.
He's got receipts.
I got pictures. I got pictures.
Why do they say that in
That's our accent. We got pictures. That's
I got pictures.
Brooklynese. The mayor speaks Brooklynese. He understands.
is that your accent? That's the
That's
This
right.
is a combination of Brooklyn, the Bronx, New York.
Because there are a bunch. I'm learning
or
this,
Manhattan. How about Manhattan? I'll meet you on 33rd and 3rd.
That's right. 33rd
I'll meet you on 33rd and 3rd.
That's funny.
Just listen to James Cagney movies of the 1930s, and you can get it just right. Or with what were those? There's a little group of bad kids. What was it? East Side Gang. The East Side Gang.
Mhm.
East Side.
All the kids
West
were
Side,
West Side,
Greasers.
East Side Gang.
Yeah.
They used to they
I'll
used to
look it
talk
up.
like that. Hey, well, you know, but
But
But it's different than Brooklyn and it's different than the Bronx.
it is
Right,
different. But
it's
I'm not great on the differences. I'm good on the generic New York accent.
so Mayor, back to the
Brooklyn
riot.
is also a little Italian
That's right.
oriented. Like, hey, Mike.
Fugazi. Fugazi.
Yeah,
That's the Brooklyn one. That's
hey,
a Fugazi. you know?
Mike. After the show, you want to go out or what?
Forget about it.
Or what?
Or what?
Yeah.
Or what is a very
And then
big
you
thing.
say, forget about it. Forget
You
about
finish sentences. You know how the girls in
What?
California all say
Like-
40 times the sentence,
like-
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, drives you nuts.
Right.
It's like Obama used to go, I'm going to take out an old Obama tape. One time, myself and my friend counted him doing it 40 times during one speech. Like,
Wow.
what? But in any event,
the riots.
we're going to talk about Senat. Now, I don't know this guy. First, let's set the stage here. This guy is a influencer,
Yeah. So, Mayor, I'll fill you in a little bit.
and he's but I want to show. I think I have a picture.
Yeah, he's a Twitch influencer. Twitch is a live streaming platform, kind of like Restream. Right. We're on Twitch. Basically, he
You don't
was
say anything bad about him.
no. He was just giving out. He was just giving out PS5s and free gift
Was
cards.
he?
Yes,
Because I
yes.
was told by some cops that he wasn't. That he was stiffing them.
Well, he only had a
That's what got
few.
him mad.
Yeah, he had a few. He didn't have
that's
as
the
much
same
as he let
thing.
on. Right. So what sparked the whole riot was two gentlemen started fighting, and the NYPD stepped in, and then they started throwing stuff at them. It was very
Is
bad.
this him?
Yes, sir. That was
Okay.
that
Now
is
here's
him.
what I'm. So
Yeah.
what happened is, let's get an official breakdown of this.
Yeah.
As to exactly what happened, because Jonathan Shirley kind of defends him, and the mayor defended him, but I have a different view. Cal Senat.
Mhm.
Okay, he didn't have a permit.
No.
Strike one.
No permit.
Before putting out word to his 20 million followers that he'd be giving away PS5 video games in the famed, he did it at Union Square Park,
Mhm.
which, by the way, even that selection is somewhat problematic because that's an area where you have a lot of pretty raucous political things going on. Now, I would like people to know the following fact. Until 2020, New York had not had a riot since David Dinkins. New York had 20 years of a Republican mayor, and then for a while, an independent mayor, Bloomberg. No riots. And a great police commissioner for Bloomberg, Kelly.
Mhm.
First riot was under de Blasio. Last riot was under a Democrat. Now, they're going to say this wasn't a riot.
Oh,
Everybody else says it was a riot.
Mayor, I was there. It was a
Yeah,
riot.
okay.
It was a riot.
And
yeah.
and at how about at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
So it started at 1:30, and then it didn't get really crazy till about 2:30, like ish 2:30. And NYPD was already there. I want everyone to know this. They got wind of this so-called giveaway.
But they probably weren't there as prepared as they would
No,
be if
no.
there had been a permit.
Right.
And where does a guy who he had a public relations firm and he had all this other stuff and he makes millions of dollars?
Right.
He doesn't go get a permit and warn the city?
So he's blaming the PR company, and to my understanding, they're cooperating with the NYPD at this time.
Well, cooperating is very good, but they've already gotten all these people injured. 66 arrested?
Mayor, they were jumping on top of Ubers that were stuck in the traffic, opening the Uber doors and robbing people inside the Ubers. Yes.
We got any pictures of this? Ted, can you search around for a few pictures? We'll play them till the end of the show.
So, Mayor, I was driving home from Rikers Island, obviously where I work, and my friend Nick, you know Nick, he does security with you sometimes. He is a firefighter right in Union Square. He called me up and he said, "Hey man, there's like a serious situation."
This reminds me of when I saw the pogrom in Crown Heights. I went there to visit the Rebbe.
Right.
And when we came out, I was with just one guy and we got stuck at the light. And he wanted me to go through the light. He was so scared. I didn't go through the light.
No.
I just said, screw you. You want to fight? We'll fight.
Yeah, it was so I'm driving home. I turn on the police scanner and I hear literally cops screaming for reinforcements, like over the police radio. You know, Mayor, when they're screaming.
Now, you should know. I mean, look, I did this for 8 years. I know like the back of my hand. I did it for 8 years, and I did it with a promise to the city and to myself there'd never be a riot. Because I lived in a city in which, under David Dinkins, and nobody mentions it because they treat David Dinkins like he's a prince too. Some prince. City was like, when I took over the city, we had 10.5% unemployment. We had 1.1 million people on welfare. Our taxes were totally ridiculous. We hadn't had a new company in 20 years. We had, well, he set a record for murders. He had the most murders of any mayor in a 4-year period. I took over the city with 2,000 murders, and I handed one back with 600. That was all my having to do that. No other mayor had ever done anything like that before. We had 1.1 million people on welfare. When I turned it over, we had 500,000. We had 10.5% unemployment. When I turned it over, we had 6% unemployment. We can go on and on and on. And we had no riot. And the next time we had a riot is when the people of the city were stupid enough to vote for a Democrat again, or brainwashed enough to vote for a Democrat again. And if they continue to do it, they're going to continue to have riots. This was a riot. The police department gets a little bit, and even Adams on this one gets a little bit of a pass because the guy didn't ask for a permit. But I'll tell you where Adams doesn't get a pass. When he says he doesn't blame Sinat for it as much as he blames the parents. And then he mentioned the social sites. Now, wait a second, Adams. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Literally.
If this was at night, okay. What are the parents are supposed to start worrying about their kids at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? They weren't all kids.
Mayor, I was going to say, for people that don't know, it was literally probably like 15 to 20-year-olds was the average age that I saw. And, they let this guy walk away with misdemeanors. He literally just got a desk appearance ticket.
The guy responsible for this, and I'm not going to say the parents brought these kids up right. Obviously, the parents didn't. But somebody kills somebody and we're going to blame the parent? No. We're not going to get very far in stopping murder if we do that. These kids are responsible for their action. They should be held accountable for their action, and Senate should be held accountable for having created this situation.
Right.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't get a permit. He goes ahead and he creates this tremendous crowd. And beforehand, this guy was saying things like, let me see if I can find that. I had this before.
He was saying vile things about the NYPD.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't even think you want to say it on your show.
He also used the N-word maybe 50 damn times. He used the N-word constantly. He said, we're going to go down there and we're going to have we can do anything we want. Okay, my fellow N-words. We're going to show them what N-words can do. There was all kinds of appeals to violence, the kind of appeals that were lacking in Donald Trump and were present here.
So, man, I want to bring up that point. You were talking about January 6th. What I saw Friday, more people were injured and hurt than in January 6th. And these people were extremely violent. They were robbing people. They were hurting police officers. And for people that know the NYPD, they're a very professional organization. But when they're screaming on the radio, they need help because the NYPD never screams on the radio. Mayor, I know you know that.
So why does Adams want to give the guy a pass and say, well, it really isn't his fault?
He got a desk appearance
it's the
ticket.
fault of the parents.
Yeah, he got a desk appearance
Look,
ticket.
I'm all for parents having more responsibility, but by the time you get to crimes like this, it's the person on the spot who's responsible for it.
Also, the NYPD chief of patrol came out and said he didn't want to arrest anybody. I'm very confused on that because I saw people beating up cops. I saw people robbing people. So we're not going to arrest anyone because they're kids? Doesn't make any sense to me, Mayor. That's a little ridiculous.
So why? So now we had a similar situation in Chicago. In Chicago on Sunday, there was a riot. The mayor refused to call it a riot. He said it was a large gathering, and we don't use the word riot. But it was hundreds of rioters that flooded Chicago's South Loop late Sunday when teens took over the area for the second time in just a few days, looted a local convenience store, and there were 32 teens that were arrested for damaging vehicles, smashing a window, looting a store, beating up people. But it's not a riot. No. It's important that we speak of these dynamics in an appropriate way, said Mayor Brandon Johnson. He's the left winger that Chicago decided to continue their 55 years of Democratic control with. And what do they have this weekend? 27 assaults and 7 murders. They're just another weekend in Democrat Chicago. And at this point, you got to say it's the fault of the people of Chicago.
Mayor,
even the ones who don't
vote. You know
vote.
what they say, Mayor? Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
The people killing people here are the voters of Chicago.
That's right.
Because to have this idiot Brandon Johnson not even be able to say it's a mob or a riot, and we got Adams doing the same thing, defending the action of these thugs on the street and blaming it on their parents, but their parents weren't jumping on the top of the cars and hitting people and banging people around and fighting with people and breaking windows, right?
No, they weren't. I saw all kids. I didn't see any parents there, Mayor. It was all young kids.
Now, if you want to have Adams, if you want to have like a straight talk with people about parenting, I'm all in favor of that. But I haven't heard that from you. I haven't heard the last guy that had a straight talk like that about parenting was accused of being a racist.
I was literally just gonna say that you're in a rock and a hard place. You blame the parents, you're a racist. You blame the kids, you're a racist.
If you start talking about the broken families, et cetera, et cetera.
That's right.
Dr. Maria, why don't you come and join us while we take a break for QUX, that wonderful, wonderful service. Here, I didn't put
The year is 2022. Cancel culture is the new normal. Online freedom, as we know it, has ended. Digital stockades are here. All activity is monitored, stored, and predictively analyzed by a technological cartel. We're being converted into a digital resource, a digital currency to be farmed for metadata and loaded into a computerized combine, blockchained to a social engineering operating system. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Be part of a new technological revolution. Right now, 1,000 test pilots have launched themselves into a new digital frontier, a private network outside of big tech control. New technology with state-of-the-art digital engagement and never-done-before security and privacy features that are now operational. With QUX digital engagement, entertainment, communication, and commercial exchange will never be the same. We are QUX. QUX. Advanced pre-release sales are limited to 3,000. Order now by visiting Quicks.tv. Get yours now before they sell out. Be part of a brand new online experience that you control.
Hello, Dr. Maria.
Hello,
Thank
everybody.
you for joining us. Rudy Giuliani. We're back on America's Mayor Live, and we're going to go into a subject that people may not really fully understand because they merge it with fentanyl. And it is, in a way, merged with fentanyl, but it's its own separate issue and has to be dealt with that way.
By now, most people
you
know
explain it
about
to us, Dr.
fentanyl because we've been dealing with the fentanyl poisonings for quite a while now. And we know in 2001, there was over 100,000 fentanyl poisoning deaths in the United States, mainly coming through the southern border because we have an open border. But everybody wants to make even more money, meaning the cartels in China. So they started cutting the heroin and other drugs, not just with fentanyl, because they found a drug that's even cheaper. And it's called xylazine, but you know it on the streets as Trank or the zombie drug. It is cheaper. And guess what? You know, fentanyl is a controlled substance, right? So the police can arrest you, prosecute you for selling it, for distribution. Xylazine is not a controlled substance. It's because it's not allowed for human consumption. It is a sedative for very large animals, cows, horses, sheep. And all you have to do is go on your favorite search engine like DuckDuckGo and do Philadelphia zombie. And you will see massive amounts of people bent over, out, because it's a sedative. They're just out, and you may see sores, especially on their extremities. Xylazine causes interruption in your microvascular system, so you'll have necrosis of the skin, then it gets infected, and you can even die from that. But xylazine is a real problem because it is not a controlled substance, although 2 governors made it a controlled substance in their state so they can prosecute people.
New York is trying to do that.
New York is trying to.
Of course, the Democrats oppose.
You need to, if you're from New York, you need to write or call Kathy Hochul, your governor. Seriously. You know, she may be pressured if she gets 1,000 phone calls a day.
She hasn't done anything in months.
So Pennsylvania and Ohio, their governor has made it a controlled substance. But you know what can happen in your neighborhood? Somebody could go out on the street corner, sell
subject and help.
Okay.
I, of course, ran this when I was mayor, and I've been there several times, including looking for my dog once. The animal care centers of New York City. So New York City, of course, when nobody else will take care of a dog, will take the dog in. That number has increased in the last year by 77%.
Is it because people can't feed the dog?
I
They
don't
can barely
know.
feed themselves. I
If
am
you
so
look at-
sick of buying 4 items for over $100 at the grocery store.
Put on the picture that I have on now. I want you to look at that.
Cats as well, Mayor. Same thing.
I want you to
Cats
look
and-
at that nice dog.
Uh,
It's a better picture over there, Dr.
I
Moran.
want that
Isn't he beautiful?
dog. I want that dog.
Now, I'm going to tell you, here's the problem with the city. If they don't get adopted,
They got a euthanasia, right?
yeah, there's a euthanasia issue.
Have
here.
to, right?
And now, Saturday and Sunday, did it show up better than that, Ted? Did it show up as a good picture?
You give me that. What you show
But why can't we show it from here?
It's not plugged in right.
All right. Well, I don't know why, but here.
Hold it up, forget it. When you hold it up, I'll take a picture.
Cute dog, huh? So are you asking the people to help
I'm
adopt?
asking the people to help adopt.
Okay.
You just contact the Animal Care
Rescue?
Centers of New York City and see if we can help these dogs. Okay, come on. From January to May of 2023, I guess this is the last statistic we have. 3,213 animals surrendered to the ACC, which that would include cats and dogs. And Friday, I didn't get the results. They did say that they were packed with eager adopters. And I used to have an adoption fair for these dogs. They should really do that. They should have an adoption fair for the dog.
Maybe they will.
I don't know if you can see a little picture.
Hey, maybe we could help, Ted. We can all go
Here,
down and
Here's a picture of one of the adoption fairs. I don't know if you can see it.
Hold it up for everyone.
It's in the corner here of the Post article. You see all the little doggies?
oh wow. Yeah, quite a few. Hey, can I briefly say something about that QUX?
Yeah.
I am ordering my box. I'm using code Rudy. And I know they talked a lot about privacy and that was their mission, but the cable bill, I don't know how much you're paying, but in New Hampshire at my house, I pay about $300 a month. And this is going to be the plan I picked, like $50. So
Actually,
look at
5.
it. Yeah.
45 because they keyed it to President Trump.
Ah.
But I think if he gets elected, it goes up to 47. I'm not sure.
Cable is such a ripple.
It
It
is.
is disgusting.
Yeah.
But you get now at $45, this little baby thing here, you get virtually everything that I ever watch. Now you want to go into some of the premium stuff that other people watch, it would cost you $114, which is also very low.
What's the website? Do we know the website? Anything you see on the mayor
QUX
.tv, isn't it? Or
dot
something-
TV,
Yeah.
QUX.TV,
Code Rudy. Any product you see on the mayor's show, it's always going to be a code Rudy. If you order from My Pillow, which by the way, I love the sheets and the towels, not even the pillows. I order towels and sheets. Use code Rudy. Balance of Nature. I'm telling you, I'm so skeptical about every supplement. I really am. This is the first one. It gives me a lot of energy. I have to admit it. Use code Rudy when you're ordering your Balance of Nature.
Now, if you look right back here, I don't know if we can get a close up. This is as simple as taking an HDMI wire. You don't even have to know what you're going to get it with it. You're going to get both things that you need with it. Unlike a lot of these things, you don't have to go out and buy it. So you get an HDMI wire. You plug it in here, right there. Boom, boom. No, even Dopey can do it. Plug it in here. You go to the back of your television, I would suggest.
When you say Dopey can do it, do you mean President Biden?
No, I mean me.
Oh, oh, sorry.
And
Excuse me.
You plug it in here, and then the other end is an HDMI a plug, and you pick one of your HDMI. Probably your television has 2 or 3 or maybe 4 HDMI plugs.
I'm sure they'd work with them.
But no, I'm going to tell them how to do it. Then you can call. They'll give you a number to call, but maybe you can do it yourself. You put an HDMI 2. I like to put it into 2. Isn't that what we put it, Ted? Into 2? Yeah, HDMI 2. Then you have your power source right here. Okay, right here. You put your power, and that comes with it. You put your power and you plug it in the wall. You're ready to go, babes. Now you got to set up an account and stuff like that. Online. Do it on your computer. Then get the app on the computer because that'll help you with all sorts of instructions for you using this. This is so simple. A double technological moron like me can operate it.
You're selling yourself short, Mayor. You're pretty smart with that.
Yeah.
Oh, and let me also say they don't censor. So here in New York, we used to enjoy watching OAN. All of a sudden, our cable subscriber cut off OAN.
It's a censorship.
Too left wing.
Yep. Too right wing.
Too right wing. They're too left wing.
Yeah.
Now I get it again. So my cable subscriber can go.
Yeah. Well, it was great being on your show.
Plus, not that hard.
Plus, it's half the price. Half the price. And
Good
much
being
more
on your
secure.
show, Mayor. Don't forget your radio show every day. WABCRadio.com.
Okay, I want to have a little discussion though. You stay there.
Oh, me? You want me to
We're gonna
stay
have a
here?
little discussion.
Well, it's 9.
It's,
We're in soccer
just
time.
just a teeny bit of soccer time.
Yeah.
I want to know if what should Trump do? Should Trump go into the debates, which are going to be, what date are they?
No.
Do we know?
No.
They're coming up soon, right?
Yeah. God, what date is it again? Is it? They have to have
August
their
23rd.
40,000 unique donors by August 14th, something like that. August 21st, I think. I don't know.
August 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we don't know if we're going to have, Pence because he's not sure how he's going to vote. He's not sure he's going to accept the donations. He's talking to his lawyer as to whether they're legal to accept the $1 donations.
Okay.
Somebody will convince him.
Okay.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's become
But your
weirder.
favorite candidate, if you really want to hear, even if it's somebody you're not sure you're going to vote for, but you want to hear what they have to say, give that dollar. I'm not saying any one of them, but to me, I don't like this rule.
Okay.
I like everybody to have an opportunity to be in front of the American people. But if you say you want it, let me make up somebody. Nancy Drew. You want to hear more from Nancy Drew?
I haven't heard anything negative about her.
Get your dollar in. Have all your neighbors give the dollar.
Is she related to that detective?
Oh, she is. Wasn't she?
They used Nancy Drew to find the cocaine in the White House.
I
We're the
wanted-
Hardy Boys.
You know what I wanted? Columbo.
Columbo, him too. That
I
was
wanted
Yeah.
Columbo to show up. And
Yeah.
the Hardy Boys.
Columbo-
Yeah. Do you
Columbo-
read those? I did too.
Columbo, you always knew who the person was at the beginning. And the trick was, how did he catch him? Well, we know who it was. This would be perfect. From the very beginning, we all know it was the biggest. There's only
I
one
know.
really major. I hope there's only one major league drug user in the White House. This is a really tough one to.
And if the Secret Service can't solve this with a secure area, cameras everywhere,
And a hell of a
fingerprints,
suspect. One
we're
hell
in
of a
trouble.
A world. Little kids from Sheboygan were writing into me saying, "It's Hunter. It's Hunter, Mr. Mayor. Tell him it's Hunter." The kids knew it was Hunter.
Well, it might not be Hunter.
So he's not doing anything.
You know how many really respectable people said to me they think it's Joe Biden?
Stop
Yes,
that.
I'm like,
Stop
what?
that.
Well, that's how he wakes himself
sleeping all
up.
the
they
time.
say.
That's how he gets through the speech. That's how he gets through those speeches.
I'm going to ask you a question
Okay,
about
yes,
from
'cause
your
we gotta
from your
close out
medical
soon. Yes.
expertise.
Yes.
Now this is serious, Doc. I
Okay.
don't want any laughing, and I
Okay.
don't want any of you guys to act like clowns here.
Sorry, man.
Exactly what is the description? Probably a word I can't pronounce of the disease when you like to smell little girls' hair.
You had to ask me off the spur. Honest to God,
what is-
my
why does
hand
he
on
do
a
that?
Bible,
I'll
there
get
is an exact diagnosis.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's in our psychiatric books.
Now, I was kidding, actually.
No, it's 100% a real diagnosis. People get
Well, then he must have it. Have you ever seen? Have you?
no,
No. Maybe.
I got it. It's
It's with a S, yeah.
Trichophilia. Trichophilia? Trichophilia.
That's a hair fetish.
And what is it?
Yeah.
How
That's
does
a hair fetish.
Yeah.
Well, there's one that begins with an S so that's a hair fetish, but there's one about sniffing. Does it say exactly about sniffing?
Oh, come on. My
It
dog is
has
going
to be
get
the
it.
one for sniffing.
Dogs have it.
What is that? Are you partially dog if you do that?
I'm only looking. I only see the two. But this is the sexually aroused. Oh, pubophilia.
What does that mean?
No, that's different. Never
Yeah.
mind.
That was I'm saying.
Now
no,
I
that's
will say in
It's different.
trichophilia, what to know about a hair fetish.
No, there's actually one. If you put in your favorite search engine, DuckDuckGo, sniffing hair syndrome. I think it begins with an S, actually.
I'm trying to look.
I've never had to diagnose anybody with it, I have to say.
What do you do for people like this? Is it not curable?
It's all behavioral cognitive therapy.
Well, he's
You know,
not
it's not a
cognitive.
pill.
How
It's not
do
a
you,
pill you can
how do
take.
you deal with a guy without a brain?
The FBI is going to look at my search history. About
He doesn't have a brain. He doesn't have a brain left. How are you going to
All
work
right,
on?
any more questions for Dr. Maria?
No, we want a treatment for sniffing hair of
There-
little girls.
well, you have to go to therapy.
But I do have to say,
You gotta go to jail.
although it's I want you to consider this in the diagnosis. Even though it's a disproportionate number of little girls that he sniffs, he does sniff women too.
You're gonna make me cry. This is our president.
Hey, I didn't vote for him.
I didn't vote for him
Did I
either.
try hard to
I thought he was too corrupt to vote for. Like, I didn't think anybody would vote for him because he was so corrupt or is so
How
corrupt.
do you? I mean, you.
But all you have to do is look on YouTube and write "creepy Uncle Joe." It's unbelievable how the way he touches young girls. It is. It's.
Getter is loving this conversation.
Oh, really?
Smelling hair thing. They're loving it right now. Everybody's cracking up.
But nobody.
I love
nobody,
Getter. Dr.
Nobody
Maria
raises-
on Getter.
Nobody has the guts except us to raise these things.
Twitter.
Come on.
Maria Ryan NH.
You're not weird when you're going around. Every woman you see, you start sniffing their hair.
Yeah, I don't like the way he does this to young women.
And they go,
Yeah, and they do. They cringe.
Get away from me, you dirty old man.
Okay, are we ready to close up
We
shop?
are ready to close up. We're going to get ready for tomorrow.
From Ted, Mike, Dr. Maria,
Right.
the mayor.
What a team!
Good
What a
night.
team! And we're the team that tells you this stuff. You wouldn't hear this anywhere else. Who's going to have the guts to ask, what is the disease when you sniff women's hair?
Maybe Dana Bash.
Oh, Dana Bash. Yeah. He wasn't involved.
Can we get like a psychologist?
How about a new question that I want to raise?
I'm gonna find it for
Yeah.
tomorrow night.
When
I knew it at one time.
When did Barr first know about the hard drive? Why did he conceal it? And if he did conceal it during the impeachment,
100%.
and if he did conceal it during the accusations of my being a Russian
Barr is
pawn and the
dirty.
president
Barr
and the
is
election,
dirty.
why is he not in jail?
No one goes to jail anymore. The good guys go to jail, get
And
harassed.
why do they have him pontificating?
You know, I heard you're winning another award, Rudy.
What?
Yeah. Did you guys hear Rudy's winning another award for the most fake stories written about him? Yeah.
I forget that one. How about being right the most?
Rudy was right.
I want to come to that.
Yep. All right.
Well,
good
we'll
night,
be with you
everybody.
tomorrow night. You go to RudyGiulianiCS.com. Take a look at a couple of those podcasts that lay out everything about Shokin and Lutsenko and just what big crooks you have in the White House. Motivate you to volunteer for the 2024 election. Motivate you to make donations to the right candidates that can get rid of this abomination in the White House. And stay with us because we got a long way to go and a lot of things to do. And probably a lot of information to get you that you're not going to get anywhere else, like tonight. You're not going to get it anywhere else. And our country's in terrible danger. And I just wonder, are these people who do this, they have got to be anti-American. Well, I love you. I love you that you watch us and that you stick with us. And I love you're on the same side as us. Don't forget Balance of Nature and My Pillows and QUX.com code Rudy. Don't forget us and come back at 8:00 tomorrow night. And we will be on the ball. Who knows how many stories we're going to have to tell you that weren't covered because They tell you the truth about where we are and where we're going, and the only way we're going to straighten it out is by knowing it. Thank you, and God bless America. Our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given common sense. So let's do it.